So my brother actually used to live down there.
I remember.
Years back.
I remember.
Years back.
I remember he called me and said, turn it down Allen Drive.
Years back, you know? They'd get out there and they'd run it around and, oh.
All right, we're at Dorothy Dix Park here with Harrison, who's holding the camera. Huh?
It's Dorothea.
Dorothea Dix?
Yes.
That sounds stupid. It's a free country, I can say what I want.
But you sound stupid.
All right, guys, we are at Dorothea Dix Park in Raleigh to fly the Eachine Wizard X220 FPV racer. It is kind of breezy out here, and that is making me slightly, I guess, scared. But we'll be all right. I'm sure I'm gonna crash it, but I've got like 10 pairs of props. All right, here we go. We got the Eachine X220 here. I'm also gonna put on my voltage checker right here. This is gonna tell us our voltage. So we're about 413, 408, 410 for the 3 cells on the battery. Bind it in there very tight. Now I'm not sure if this is the prime way to do this, but that's what I'm going to do today. Let's get out the controller. We already have our batteries in. This is the Eachine EV800. Looks like we have our image. Check it out. Okay. Woo! There are a few people who have invaded our flying space, but what I want to do first of all is just say, usually you don't pick such a windy spot or windy conditions as your first flight. I don't know, it's one of those things. This is one of the most open fields, which is I think a really important thing to do when you're first trying out FPV flying, is finding a very open field away from people and away from dogs and stuff. So we are going to wait this one out. Oh my gosh. Right now it's, oh no. That was almost a loss of control. All right, I'm not using the FPV goggles yet because I'm just trying to get a feel for this thing. I think I'm probably gonna use up one battery just doing this. I'll let you know if it's heading our way. I do like that the LED lights in the front are green and the ones in the rear are red, which means you can tell which way this thing is pointing. Looks like Christmas. I'm focusing very hard right now. Now I do have the voltage alarm on, so if this does get to be too low of a voltage for the battery, I can bring it back and we can land. So far I can tell this thing flies well. It feels stable. It's just like, it's completely manual, that's the thing. But as it spins, you know, as it flies, it seems to be very stable for what I'm telling it to do. I can tell this thing has an immense amount of power, dude. Whoa! Because just the littlest bit on the thumbstick and I am taking off. I'm noticing that all it takes is very, very small thumb movements to do something with it, you know, to turn it or to move it, like very, very small thumb movements. If you're moving like this with the DJI or, you know, some other type of drone, you wouldn't be moving the drone at all. Like I am barely touching the sticks and it's doing something. So I think this session, I'm just going to enjoy keeping it under control. And maybe sometime in the future, I could actually try to race around, you know? But I am gonna try the FPV headset. Well, I've done worse. Usually the camera's pointed up a little bit because when you fly forward, the drone tilts downward, you know? Yep, first legit crash with damage. There we go. Okay, let's check out the damage. That didn't sound good at all. Well, I guess that concludes our flying for the day. Actually, it doesn't look horrible, but I did break one of the receiver antenna. Otherwise, the drone itself looks fine. Okay, so the voltage checker came off, but it looks like it's in perfect condition, really. The only real issue to the drone is that one of the receiver antennas did come off, and the battery is probably no longer usable the way we crashed it. But my thinking is that the way we strapped the voltage checker in with the battery, that wasn't a snug fit, unfortunately, and that's why things popped off. I think if we just had the battery secured with that Velcro, the battery would have stayed in and wouldn't have been damaged so much. So maybe I need to find a better place to put this voltage checker on the drone, or not even use it and maybe just use a timer instead. All right, guys, this concludes the first flight and setup and review of the Eachine X220. I actually really like it. This is my first FPV racer, if you couldn't tell, and I've crashed it. I probably crashed it 4 times. I actually successfully landed it twice. It holds up for someone like me who doesn't really know what they're doing. I appreciate that. Little things did break, but because FPV racers are so serviceable, you know, they're customizable, it's not gonna be a big deal for me to like purchase another antenna or a whole receiver if need be, and then we're back in business with that. I switched out, looks like 5 or 6 props, which isn't too bad, but I do have some better props on order. They're called King Kong, and they're supposedly a little bit more strong. I think it's a really good drone to use as a first FPV racer. So if you're trying to get into it, you're trying to stay under 300 bucks or 250, I think this is probably one of your only options if you want to maintain quality with an FPV racer. And I really appreciate banggood.com for sending this to me. Thank you, Rudy, for also sending the headset. I used it briefly. Check out the link in the video description for the Banggood purchase link to this drone, the X220. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and happy flying.